In this how-to video of Unite, we will be taking a look at how to use distribution lists and the grid view. So to access the distribution list, this may vary based on your permissions, but you're going to want to either navigate to, if you're a part of the membership administration or work in the membership department, you're going to want to navigate to the membership component. And if you're in the training component or have work in the training department, you're going to want to navigate to the training component in Unite. But they're both going to be in their components, but under the communicate folder, and select distribution lists. So once you're entered in your distribution list, it's going to, you're able to set your organization. So if you're at the DC level, you have access to all the local unions. And if you're at a local union level, you would only be able to see your local union in that organization field. And then you can either view already made distribution lists in that organization, or you can create a new distribution list by selecting the new distribution list button. So this is going to prompt you to enter a name for that distribution list. We'll just call this test tutorial video. And now you're able to add your filter for distribution lists. And so this may be pretty lengthy, as there are a lot of different fields that you can search for and different match types with those different fields. But when adding a filter, you first have your related table, which is basically going to be your data set for Unite. And so we have the roster related table, which is going to pull information like last name, first name, middle name, prefix, suffix, member number, membership status, class, trade, things like the pay through date, the last activity date. There's a lot of information in here that it'll pull. Your position related table is going to pull information from like your first name, last name, but as well as the position types or what position they hold. So if you want to create a list based on certain position types or positions, you can do that with the related table, and so that'll pull members with the respective filters. The voter table is going to pull voter information. The survey related table is going to pull information from the surveys. And so if you have created a survey and sent that out, you're able to pull information here of everybody who has responded a certain way. So that is pretty good if you want to view everybody that answered yes to a certain question on your survey. That's optional though, but if you do select that, that's going to prompt you for a response. With the custom fields related table, here if you create a custom field, you are able to view or create a filter in your distribution list to search for that. And so you can search for the per answer, or per response for that custom field. So in this example, I'm using an emergency group, and everybody that was selected yes. If I were to save this and add this filter here, it will pull everybody that has the custom field of emergency group selected as yes in their custom fields. And lastly, for communications, if there was a communication sent out, you can select that, and everybody that has received that communication, and you can select that specific communication in here, as well as if you filter by, since I already have a communication, I can't add another one, but if I go back, here and I have to refresh that. But yeah, so if you sent out a specific communication, you can select that, and in the communication column. And for the status, you can view everybody that has ever had a failed communication status for this, or delivered, opened, or engaged. So that's a rundown of all of the related tables in your distribution lists. You also can, sometimes Unite will prompt you to preview your results of members that'll be in there. So for example, it prompted me the button to preview everybody that would be in that field for the custom fields here. So that was just nice. But just doing a test example, mainly you might be using the roster related table for all of your distribution lists, but there may be instances where you want to use survey or communication to create a distribution list as well. But for this example, I will just create a distribution list of all active and suspended members with, let's say, a last activity date of March 1st or a pay through date of March 31st. How about that? So if you want to create a distribution list of everybody and who's an active or suspended member, we're going to type in under the columns, related table, roster, search for membership status, and you can type in there or you can scroll down, but it's easier to type what you want to look for. And so we're selecting the status. And so in this status drop down, you're going to want to select active and suspended. You're able to select multiple. You can use this top checkbox to select everything within that search or deselect everything with that checkbox here. But so we're going to do active and suspended. And when we're ready to add that filter, we're going to select the add new filter button. We also want to view, we said active and suspended. I don't think I set a class, but let's just say regular member or regular and life and industrial. How about that? And so do life and industrial, active and suspended members with a paid through date. And then we will type in, we can either do dues last paid or paid through date, and I'll do paid through date. And so with date values, this match type changes. So you can do the date is not, after, date is before, between, is not empty, is empty. And this days from present, we have a change coming where we want to add more dynamic values. So you're able to search for like in between 2 months or in between 5 days. So those changes will be coming and we will have updated videos for those changes. But so since we want to view a pay through date of, let's say, everybody that was paid through March 31st, we can do that here and add that there. So right now it's going to pull everybody who has a membership class of life and industrial who is either active and or suspended and has a pay through date of the 31st of March. And there are a few members in here. And so that is our distribution list per those parameters. You can save this list by selecting update name, which will save that. Or if you update that name, that'll save that distribution list. It automatically gets saved every time you do add a filter, so that is nice. And I did mention this in the how to search for a member video, but if you go to the membership connect folder and then roster, you can search or you can pull your or search for specific members in that distribution list by going under the distribution list drop down and searching for that list that you just created and see those 4 people pulled up. So now I'm going to be navigating to the grid view. And you may see this grid view or you will see this grid view in the roster. This may vary based on your permissions in Unite. But this grid view is going to be at the top right of your roster results page. And so to activate grid view, just toggle that button here and you will be in the grid view. This is essentially an advanced way to view your roster, but it is very similar, as you can see, to the distribution lists. So you have the option to pull that distribution list that you just created in your distribution lists, and you can export this. You can show the filters or hide the filters and add more filters to that. But say you don't want to select the distribution list Let's toggle out of this and come back in here. So say you don't pull the distribution list at first, you can search in advanced way of if the filters aren't meeting what you are trying to search for. So see when they have name, organization, member number, membership class, membership status, position, and primary employer. You can search in a more advanced way for this, or with this grid view function. So say we wanted to view everybody with a certain bargaining unit, we could do that in the bargaining unit columns here under the roster related table, and select a bargaining unit here and add that filter. And there's nobody in LE 101 with that bargaining unit because probably not under the right DC, but well, no, but yeah. So yes, so that is how you use the grid view. Really, the only major difference is that you can export from here, even though it's similar to a distribution list. It's not. It's also you are able to save your grid view search as a distribution list if you find that you want this to be a dynamic list that you need to have. But all in all, that is how you use distribution lists and the grid view in Unite. Thank you for watching.